The Jacksonville Jaguars made a trade. They traded cornerback C.J. Henderson to Carolina for tight end Dan Arnold and a third-round pick. Now, this news was kind of shocking, but you look at it, the Panthers really need a cornerback after losing Horn to a broken foot, and he could be out for 2 to 3 months, maybe even the whole season. We don't even know for sure. So bringing in C.J. Henderson, who the Jacksonville Jaguars tried to trade in the offseason, it was a good call. And bring in Dan Arnold, you have some problems at tight end, this will be your best shot. But I don't understand fully what Jacksonville is trying to accomplish. You know you're not probably going to win many games your first year because it's a rebuild. I think the question is, and we heard some rumors of Urban Meyer might leave and take the USC job. And if so, that would be a complete embarrassment to the Khan family who own the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they gave you all this ability. They brought you in. You kind of need to stay here and build this roster. Urban Meyer told the Broncos head coach when they were facing the Broncos that it was basically facing Alabama every week in the NFL. And that's kind of true because there's a lot of Alabamas in the NFL. A lot of Alabama players in the NFL. But that's just the way it works. So I don't fully understand what Jacksonville is doing on one hand, but on the other, it was a good move to try and get Dan Arnold. And getting rid of a player that you certainly do not want. Bruce Arians says that Tampa Bay would be willing to sign Richard Sherman if the legal issues were resolved. And I saw this and I was like, well, who wouldn't do that? He's one of the better players in the NFL that is not in the NFL at this moment. But at this point, you almost would have to make him move to safety instead of corner. And I would have said that last week. But what happened against the Rams, you might as well just keep him at corner. Your corners getting injured. Sean Murphy Bunting is injured. Jamel Dean got hurt. You have to have somebody. Signing Richard Sherman would be probably your best option. The NFL had kind of made it abundantly clear when they said what Antonio Brown's situation would be. But he was put on the COVID list when he got COVID. So he did not play against the Los Angeles Rams. Christian McCaffrey has a hamstring injury to be out for multiple weeks. We don't know if that's 1 week, 2 weeks, a week. We have no idea. But we heard it's not completely serious. But a hamstring injury, that's a nagging injury. You don't know what can happen. Jaycee Horn, as we talked about before, from first round pick out of South Carolina, broke bones in his foot, and as I said, could be out for 2 to 3 months, maybe even the whole year. We're not even sure yet. Jordan Mailata injures his knee, as we saw he did not play against the Cowboys, which we'll get into in a bit. Josh Norman, who now is with the 49ers, suffered 2 bruised lungs and internal bleeding. He was actually sent to the hospital because he was bleeding everywhere. Now, he still wants to play next week. I think he can. because he's a tough person. But Tubu's lungs in your first action of the season is not a good position to be in. Hopefully he can play next week.